Episode of the Jay's Fit Down podcast. I'm your host, Jay, of course, here with my boy Jonathan Hooker of the Sports Den podcast. Glad to have him on the show to talk about some college football, which starts today, Jonathan. We got Navy and we have Notre Dame kicking us off at 2:30, and then tonight, there's other games too, but tonight the big kicker is USC playing against San Jose State. So I'm glad, man. Football is back. I missed it.
Oh yeah, college football is probably the best thing back. That's here in America. To be honest, to me, it's better than NFL. You could say it's better than NBA. It's a lot of thing that goes on in college football that we just get up and say, yeah, I'm sitting down today. I'm just tuning in. I'm just tuning to games all day today.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah. So on that note, man, the two games that everybody's really looking forward to today, of course, like I mentioned, between Notre Dame and Navy, and then USC and San Jose State. What are you looking for when you're watching those two games from those teams? What are you looking to watch out for?
For Notre Dame, I want to see how Sam Hartman fits into the new system because he's a great quarterback, and he led the ACC in all time in passing touchdowns with 110. So I want to see how they incorporate him to the offense, how they convert their offense to his strengths. And for USC, I want to see how Brendan Rice is as the wide receiver one, because last year they had Jordan Addison, and Jordan Addison couldn't get over 1,000 yards. He was a former Blitnikoff winner. So I want to see how they incorporate Brendan Rice as the number one wide receiver with Caleb Williams, and I want to see that dynamic between the two.
Yeah. And I think everybody, has got their eyes on Mr. number 13, Caleb Williams, the Heisman winner, the projected number one overall pick in the 2024 draft. He already said that he is unsure about, if he's going to declare or not. So we'll see what happens with that. I mean, I don't know. Now everybody thinks Cardinals are going to get the number one pick, which they most likely will. So if he were to declare, he would go to the Cardinals. So maybe he doesn't want to go there. We'll see. But yeah, I'm excited, man. So, college football is back. Caleb Williams and USC. You think USC has a chance to make the playoffs this year?
From what I guess the professional media has said, probably yes. But to me, no. It's one of two things. One, they have to have a competent run game. I want to see them run the ball a little bit more on the ground. I want to see that because last year they had a great transfer in Travis Dye, but I didn't think they used him enough. I think they didn't block well enough in the run blocking. And two, I want to see how their defense fares against when they play elite offenses in the Pac-12 and against other competition. Because last year, Utah ran through them like it was nothing.
Yeah.
And then they couldn't. They weren't tackling as well. They weren't covering as well. I just want to see them shore up that defense because the Georgia transfer, Barry Alexander, said that there's not much of a difference between the USC defense and the Georgia defense. And Georgia has been historically great the last two seasons in that area. So I want to see how that defense fares because that's a lot of pressure from a Georgia transfer saying, oh, I think it's not that much of a difference. Now the media will be talking if you guys let a team put up 35 or 40 against you. I'll be like, hey, like you said this, what happened today? Or you said this in the offseason, but what happened today? And that it's going to be a reoccurring thing. And I think that whoever's the leader in defense, I want them to step up and make sure their defense is on point this year. Because if their defense is not on point, we're going to look at them as the tendency of last year.
Yeah, great offense, defense, not really there, right?
Yeah.
So that's how you can describe that team. Tennessee, and they were really good last year. Just the defense couldn't stop anybody. So that's the thing about it. But yeah, I think they have the talent. It's just defensively, you gotta. Defense has got to be there. But we'll see. But as long as number 13 is back there throwing the football, though, I give them a shot. He's phenomenal. I'll get to him a little bit later. But yeah, man. So that on that note, who are the teams otherwise that you're watching for this year? Just in general, like who should people keep an eye on as the college football season rolls through this year?
Okay, I'll give you three teams. One, Florida State. I think Florida State has the best chance to make the playoff again since Jameis was there.
Yeah.
Since the first college football playoff. Wow. That's almost 20 years ago.
Yeah, that was a while
Wow.
ago. Yeah.
Yeah, so Florida State has a shot. It's just basically they return all their talent on offense. They return a lot of talent on defense. Jared Verse, who was supposed to be a top 15 pick last year, returned back for his senior year. That's huge for that defense. And then you got Jordan Travis. They went into the transfer portal. They got Jaheim Bell and Keon Coleman, who's 6'3" and 6'4", and he already has a 6'7" target in Johnny Wilson. And I think that I don't know those pieces would only enhance Jordan Travis. The number 2 team. Let me go ahead and get Penn State near the Lions out the way. Watch out for cornerback Kalen King. He's up for a lot of awards. I really like his play. And on offense, they have a great running back in Nicholas Singleton. But the X factor of that team is eventually going to be that quarterback position. That's Drew Aller. And I want to see how Drew Aller plays in that offense. I want to make sure that I want to make sure that he's the guy, because I think he's the guy. He's a 5-star, highly touted, sat behind Sean Clifford, who was in college football for 40 years. So I just want him to see, I want to see how he fares against the big competition, because they get one of the big games at home. That's Michigan or Ohio State. So if they have a chance to upset one, I think they can go ahead and upset the other because they have the confidence to do it. So then after that, another team to look out for, just because of the star power and the attraction over there, is going to be Colorado. I want to see what Coach Prime does. I just want to see what he does in his first year in FBS football. I hope people don't expect championship aspirations, because that's not going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
As long as we see improvement from a one-win team to maybe 4 to 5, I'll say that's a successful season. Because you got to look at, if people scrutinize Coach Prime just because he didn't make a bowl game from a one-win team, name a head coach who has done that. It's hard. It's hard to even figure that out. So as long as he improves, because he has some talent. He has guys from Jackson State and guys from other Power 5 teams to transfer over there. And I think they'll contend in most games, but I think they just won't have enough in the end. But I just want to see how they compete against the best in the Pac-12 and how they go about things throughout the rest of the season. So those are my 3 teams.
Yeah, good picks, man. Those are great picks. Colorado actually was one of mine as well. Along with LSU for me. Now I'm an Alabama fan. I hope this isn't the case, but I can see them having a good year. Like Jay Daniels is a talented quarterback, man. He's, he had his moments, but he overall he's talented, and that defense is good. I love Harold Perkins. I think he's going to continue to emerge and be a star in college football. So I love his motor. You got to have that. Your defense in this league, you have to have guys who are just going to have that relentless push, that drive, that motor, and get after it for 4 quarters or more. And so when you got guys like that, then you're going to have a good team, or at least a team that's going to fight. So, for sure. But yeah, man, it's gonna be great. I'm interested to see what happens, man. It's gonna be interesting watching these teams. A lot of new coaches around on some other teams. You got Luke Fickell. He left Cincinnati, so now he's in Wisconsin. So that's gonna be interesting. I think he's gonna do first year.
Luke Fickell, he turns programs around. He's a guy. He's one of those blue collar guys who just come in, works, goes on about his day. He doesn't talk to the media like that. I think that Wisconsin, you'll see improvement. I think he's probably one of the few coaches that could go into Wisconsin and win 8 games. One of the few coaches. I think that's doable for him because the way he turned around Cincinnati into, I say, a group of five powerhouse and made Power Five teams not want to play them because he developed a Desmond Ritter, he developed a Sauce Gardner, and those just a few names that he developed that are doing that they're in the league and they have a chance to be successful. And I think that he'll do the same thing because they have a stud running back in Braylon Allen. I think that he incorporated that star power right there. I think that he'll do a tremendous job with him. And I think that they have a chance to make some noise in the Big Ten. Not win it, but make some noise.
Make some noise. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, man. So, I think it's going to be interesting. Wisconsin, Luke Fickle, I always like him. He's a great coach, as you mentioned. Blue collar, he just goes in and goes about his business. Like, hey, you know what? It's time to go to work. So that's how it's going to be. But yeah, man. So moving on. Now I'm going to ask for your Heisman picks. I'm interested to see what this list looks like for you, and then I'll give mine after yours. So please, Jonathan, take the floor on that. Give me your Heisman picks for the 2023 season.
Okay, before the public kills me, there'll be no Caleb Williams, there'll be no Drake May. They are the number one and number two overall picks in my opinion. So I will not incorporate them in my list. Yes, they are the favorites, but me, I don't want to pick the favorites. I'm gonna be a little different. I'm sorry. Okay, so my number one pick will be Jordan Travis from Florida State. He has everything going for him. He has the big time games in the beginning of the season. And so with that, and then you also have a lot of production on offense while adding tremendous pieces with Jaheim Bell and Keon Coleman, as I said before. I think that they have a chance to do something special this year, and that's get back to the college football playoff, like I said. So I think Jordan Travis is the engine of that team. They go as long as he go. So we'll see how that goes. Number two, Jaden Daniels from LSU. I'm sorry, Alabama fan, but I'm gonna have to keep it real. Jaden Daniels, he did what he did best, and that was be efficient, didn't turn the ball over, and just gave good play at quarterback. But you got to think he's at LSU, so he's going to get a national media attention. So then the national media is going to push a narrative behind him. So yes, so Jaden Daniels will get that talk. Another person I'll say is Sam Hartman from Notre Dame. What he did at Wake Forest, I don't think it's talked about enough because we have to think about it. Wake Forest before Sam Hartman got there. What was their record? 3-9, 4-8. Sam Hartman had them competing against the Clemsons, against the Florida States. Each and every year he was there. So let's not forget that. And I think that with his new team in Notre Dame and what Marcus Freeman is as a head coach, I think that they'll cater to his strengths, and I think that things will play great in his favor. And then my two long shots is Cam Rising and Jalen Daniels from Kansas. Cam Rising, he's at Utah. All he does is win. He doesn't talk to media. He's not a national media guy to where people are like, oh, Cam Rising this, Cam Rising that. Nah, like Cam Rising is actually a baller. Like he can go. He went toe to toe with Caleb Williams in the Pac-12 championship. He went toe to toe with him. Before that, when USC traveled to Utah, so it's like Cam Rising has a shot, but I don't think national media would give him that love though. And then after that, you have Jalen Daniels from Kansas because let's not forget, College Game Day altered their schedule to go to Lawrence, Kansas.
They did.
So, and he had a 16 touchdowns to 1 interception ratio before he got injured. And now they were 5-0. But once he got injured, things went downhill, and there weren't a lot of talk. But the long shots, I think they'll get 2 or 3 weeks worth of Heisman talk, where they'll be like, oh, he could win Heisman if he does this or he does that. But then after those 2 or 3 weeks, they won't get talked about like that enough. So then the two contenders with Sam Hartman and Jalen Daniels, I think they'll get talked about throughout the whole year. But that maybe if they had that 1 or 2 mess up games, they're like, nah, we can't give it to them no more. We gotta think about this game. We have to think about that game. So I think that wouldn't be good. I think that's the reason. And then Jordan Travis just did what he did last year and just wins every game. I think he has a shot at winning it.
That's a solid
And those
list,
are
man. That's a solid list. That is a solid list. Like you said, those all those players are very talented players. And they some of them more than others get more attention, like you said, national media attention, and maybe a few of them could get some more this year. So that would be interesting to see what happens with that, depending on how they play. Hopefully, they stay healthy, and their team does good. Except for Jane Daniels, can't have can't have that. But I would like to see him do well. So my list is, first off, my first pick is not a quarterback, man. It is Marvin Harrison Jr., star wide receiver for the Ohio State Buckeyes. I think Mr. Harrison can take this award home this year. He's talented enough. The dude is dude. He's a beast. Like just like his dad, he's a beast. A little bit different play wise, but he's got the genes. You can tell. Like I can tell that's his son. So I got Marvin Harrison, and he is a tremendous part of that offense. You saw what happened when he went down against Georgia. Not saying they would have won, but come on. And second pick is a quarterback. Man, honestly, I know what you said earlier, okay, but me, I'm going to go with Caleb Williams possibly repeating. That's my second pick. I think he can repeat.
I can respect that.
USC has got great offense, and I think he can put those numbers up again, barring, of course, any injuries and hopefully, great receiver play. You lose Jordan Addison, that's something else to think about. But, other than that, man, and then my third and final pick, as much as it pains me to say this, man, another non-quarterback, Brock Bowers. Yes. Giving love to some Bulldogs here on the podcast today. So you guys, you Georgia fans who are watching, this is probably all you're going to get. So hope you enjoy. Jonathan, that includes you. So hope you enjoyed that little split second there. But no, man, I think he has the potential. Brock is a stud, and if he puts up the numbers, and I think he has a chance. It's a kind of long shot, but I think he could be in the running. But yeah, definitely Marvin Harrison, Caleb Williams repeating, and Brock Bowers. Those are my three picks for Heisman this year.
Very solid list. Very, very solid list. I like that you incorporate non-quarterbacks. I should have did that, but those two are probably two of the best people that are non-quarterbacks on the offensive side to do it. So, yeah, you won me over with those two picks. Caleb Williams is Caleb Williams. There's no reason to talk about it. We all know and understand what he does.
Yeah, we know. Yeah, we know, man. So speaking of your Georgia Bulldogs, any chance that they repeat this year? Like all the talk that's going around, I feel like a lot of pressure is on Georgia this year, personally. Because you think about it, everybody's talking about, well, they got an easy schedule and they should go 12-0. There's no reason they don't repeat. So, as a Georgia fan, hearing all this, what's going through your mind about it?
Okay. So one, I'm not one of those fans like, oh my God, we're doing this this year. No, I'm just taking it game by game because the game last year that stuck out to me was Missouri. That's the one game where people were saying Georgia's over with, Georgia's this, Georgia's that. I promise you, I was in my apartment just chilling. I was like, how much time we got left? I was looking at how much time we got left. I said, if we score right here, get a stop, we'll be fine. And I literally kept saying that to myself. As a Georgia fan, that has never happened to me. So when I realized that if I'm calm when things are like back to the wall, fourth quarter with 10 minutes left and we're down double digits, and I can sit here and be like, oh, we can win this game. I think that Georgia's like this. Georgia's that sleeping giant to where you know that once he wakes up, it's like the game is over. So I think Georgia has to stay even killed. One, stay even kill, two, not get too ahead of themselves because I think our players do that sometimes. They look ahead in the schedule like, oh, like we gotta go try our hardest day, and then that team scored a touchdown, and then everyone looks at each other like, what happened? So then after that, two, we can't look ahead of ourselves. Three, it's just I think we just have to enjoy the process. And the process is we're gonna have our ups, we're gonna have our downs, we're gonna have injuries. Like it's inevitable. Like someone's gonna get injured. Hopefully not someone big, but I think injuries hopefully not nothing big or someone big or just a little minor injury. But it's gonna happen. People are gonna get banged up. But if we enjoy the process, have fun with it, I think we have a good chance of repeating. But it's college football. I think that anything can happen. One of the teams that on the schedule that I can say that can give us the run for our money in the first half, I say it's Ole Miss because they have a great running game in Quashawn Judkins. Not a lot of people talk about him enough for me because he literally put up the same numbers or even better numbers than Blake Corum last year, and he was on the Ole Miss team. But that's why he didn't get talked about enough because they're in the SEC West.
Yeah.
It's Alabama and LSU all day. And it's like you can't talk about it. But then after that, we just have to. I just want to see how we fare against LSU. I mean, Ole Miss, and then another game is the Tennessee game. That game right there, Nick. I want to see your reaction to that game after we win. But but nah, seriously though, Tennessee's probably gonna give us our biggest challenge because that offense, Josh Heupel, probably a top 5 offensive mind in college football with the way he just schemes, everyone's open. He has the quarterback to do it again, Joe Milton.
Yep.
And then you had the wide receivers that they have, a speedster, and then the bruiser on the outside with Brew McCoy. And we have to go to Tennessee this year. So I know that stadium is going to be sold out, rocking. And I know I want to see how Carson Beck fares in that environment. So when he has that environment, because I think it's a gauntlet that we have. It goes, we play Auburn, we play Ole Miss, and then we play Tennessee. I want to see how he does in those 3 games. Because the Florida game, I'm not worried about. 1,000%, I'm not worried about Florida, like at all. If you think I'm finna worry about Florida, talk to someone who's a Vanderbilt fan, not me. But I think that those 3 games, I want to see how Carson Beck fares because one, we're going to Auburn. Let's not act like Jordan Hare Stadium isn't one of the loudest stadiums.
No, it is. It definitely is. I know that for sure. It gets loud.
So I know it'll cause some issues in the first half for sure. Ole Miss, I want to see how he just comes in because if Ole Miss scores and if Ole Miss puts up points, like I know they have the potential to because they have a Lane Kiffin who just draws up gimmick plays. And I don't know how they work, but hey, Lane Kiffin knows how to get someone open. Lane Kiffin knows how to scheme people open. Like hate him, love him, dude's a football genius.
Yeah.
And then with the Tennessee game, I think that the way Tennessee came into last year, everyone expected us to lose. I just laughed because it's like they're gonna have to see us for 4 quarters. I'm gonna say that again, like they're gonna have to see us for 4 quarters. 4. So I want to see how they will play with us physically because I know they can score the points, but they're more a little finesse team than a physical team. So I want to see how that goes. But other than that, I think we have a great chance of repeating. But I just don't want us to get too ahead of ourselves. So we're just gonna take it game by game.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it. I mean, that's how a rational fan would look at it. Right, take it game by game. Now, if you're an Alabama fan, it might be a little bit different. But for me, I can say for me, man, just take it game by game. I mean, this year, we got a few question marks, particularly at the quarterback position. I don't know who. If you ask me right now, man, the season starts in about a little over a week, and I have no idea who the starting quarterback is going to be. I have no clue. I don't even think Nick Saban knows who it's going to be right now. So
who do you want it to be?
Oh God.
Honest opinion.
I, that's a tough question, man. Because I would say Jalen Milrow because he has he has more playing time in the offense and we run. He spot started last year for Bryce a couple of times, and he fared decently. And he can run too. He brings a dynamic with his legs. That's something about him, man. But as far as mechanic wise, passing. Um, Not the best there. So then again, I even a little spoiled with Bryce Young and Mac Jones too. So I'm probably spoiled there. But uh, other pick, I mean Buckner, transfer from Notre Dame. I would like to see him possibly too. Like to see him get some action as well. So it's between those two guys for me. Of course, he followed Tommy Rees over here. So um, we'll see what happens with that. But yeah.
Nah, I'll say this. Whoever plays quarterback for the University of Alabama, those irrational fans that going to compare you to Bryce and Matt Jones and Tua, please block them on Twitter. Please block them on all social media because that would not be good for you. Because one thing I can't say about Bama fans, you guys are ruthless to your team sometimes. And so are we as Georgia fans. But you guys are a different breed because beforehand, last year, oh my goodness, I like one of my friends who's an Alabama fan. He said, "Oh, I stopped watching college football after we lost to LSU." I said, "What?"
That's a bad loss, but
I said, "What? You stopped watching?" He said, "Oh, what's there for me to watch? We lost 2 games." I said, "Wow, like that right there, like opened my eyes so big. I was like, yeah, if Alabama don't win 11 games or go undefeated this year, yeah, they're not watching. They just gonna say Georgia only has this many rings." I'm like, okay, so we're living in the past again. We have to live in the present right now. Come on, guys. Because if Georgia three-peats, what how does that change the look of Alabama for you as a fan?
it doesn't change it much. Dude, we still I mean, regardless of past or present, you go in our championship room down at the facility, man, you're gonna see 18 of
Mm-hmm.
those trophies. You're gonna see 18 of them,
Mm-hmm.
18 banners. So compared to Georgia's what? How many they won? Three, four? I don't know. So it's now present.
Okay.
Well, I am also a person at the same time. I do like to live in the presence. Well, like recently, we have not done well. Georgia has done well. They won the last two championships. So until we come and win, I mean, Georgia right now they got their hold on the SEC. So as far as that's concerned, coming out and winning championships. So I can say that much. But that's where I stand on it as a Bama fan. So
Yeah, I can respect that. I mean, I can't deny the fact y'all got 18 of them things while we only have 4. I can't get mad. I just hear
yeah,
like, hey, I'm glad. I just hear and say, hey, I'm glad we won back to back. I'm grateful. I mean, we're gonna have to wake up this new season. We're gonna have to go do it again. If we can do it again 3 times in a row, then I might get a little happy. Like, oh, I'm satisfied with the 3 in a row. But nah, I think that the way Kirby coaches, he just never let his team nor fan base be complacent. That's
yeah,
that's one thing I can say. Like complacency is not where Georgia wants to be or needs to be. I think that he still gets the kids hunger. I think he still gives the kids the right guidance of just hey, let's go about our business today, and then we can move on next week. Because please do not talk to media. I think that's one thing that players do. Just talk to media. We just can't do that. So yeah.
yeah. We'll see, man. Like I said, it'll be a great season for sure. I'm just circling that week 2 game against Texas. That's the game I'm looking forward to. I want to see how we fare this time around. It's going to be at Brian Denny, so as opposed to being, at the Longhorns' house last year, and I hope we played much better than because what I saw last year was atrocious. So I'm hoping I see a different output, and I think I will. So that's what I'm looking forward to. But John, that pretty much wraps us up, man. Unless you had any last minute comments, thoughts before we kick off here, a couple hours for college football officially.
Um, if you're not watching game day, if you're not watching college game day when it started, are you truly ready for college football season? And college football is back. So we have to set our Saturday schedules from 8 o'clock when you wake up. Go get your breakfast. Go make it. Go run to Chick-fil-A. I don't care. Because when 12 o'clock hits, you're going to be watching football from 12 to 12.
That's right. 12, man. All day
That's
long.
it.
All day.
That's
That
it.
is that is college football for you, man. So I'm glad it's back. So, John, thank you for coming on again, everybody. This is John the Hooker of the Sports Scene Podcast. Make sure you guys check him out there on YouTube and all the podcast platforms, and check us out here the same YouTube, all the podcast platforms. We're there trying to keep you guys updated, and you'll be seeing a lot more Jonathan throughout the season on the show here. So hopefully he'll be my college football buddy here talking, and we'll track each other's teams, with Georgia and Alabama throughout the year, see how we're both doing. But but thanks, John, again for doing
No
this.
problem. No problem.
All right, man. Well, you have a great rest of your day, man, and happy college football day to you. And we will see you.
All right.
All right.